can be very challenging, too. Besides taking a physical and emotional toll, it can also take a real financial toll, especially if you're paying for home safety upgrades, covering medical expenses, cutting back on hours at your job, or having to leave your job altogether. In some states and in certain situations, you may be eligible to get paid for the care you provide, but finding reliable information about caregiver compensation can be overwhelming and very time-consuming. The AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub can help. It's a free online tool developed with support from United Healthcare, where you can search compensation programs, explore your options, and get answers to frequently asked questions. Find out today if it's possible to be compensated for the time, effort, and care you're providing. Visit paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And just in case you didn't hear me the first time, good morning. You are listening to Truth in the Morning. It's your girl DT, the effective communication coach, and I am so absolutely excited to be with you this morning as it is Friday Eve, Thursday, September 4th. 7:01 a.m. We're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studios, and you can stream and watch me live right now just by simply going to YouTube, visiting youtube.com, search for 101.7 The Truth. You'll get to see me live looking raw because it is early for me. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, DT.
How are you?
I am doing great. It's Friday Eve. It is NFL Jersey Day at GKB, so I got my Randy Moss jersey on. I'm feeling good.
Randy Moss. Hold on. Let me see what team. I'm a little rusty with Randy. It's been a minute. I know he's country as I don't know what. He's from West Virginia, right?
Oh, yeah. Marshall Proud. Minnesota.
Okay. Thank you. So he's a former competitor because, as you may or may not know, Andrew, have you heard the team that I cheer for?
No, I haven't.
Let's just say, living in Milwaukee for 20 plus years, it was very interesting having the team that I root for. But anywho, I see y'all, Truth Nation. Gabriel, good morning. Willie, good morning. RN Kawan, good morning. Thank y'all so much for showing up this morning. It's going to be an interesting show this morning because we have a number of topics to dive into. And the first topic that we want to discuss, it's very disheartening, and I don't even know where to begin. But once again, here in Milwaukee, we are reading and hearing about another headline hitting us hard, especially for those that identify as Black. So if you have not already heard, the 4 hotel employees that were charged in the death of Devontae Mitchell, who was a 43-year-old Black man. These 4 hotel employees that were charged will serve absolutely 0 prison time. Now, last June, so June of 2024, Devontae Mitchell lost his life after an altercation at the Hyatt Regency downtown here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, the official report stated that Devontae Mitchell caused a disturbance. But let me be clear, as far as I'm concerned, the disturbance does not equal a death sentence. what we saw take place in the surveillance video did not warrant Devontae Mitchell to die. Yes, I'm coming in hot, y'all. I could sit here and do an icebreaker and just be nonchalant with Andrew, and this is ridiculous. Now, let's sit with this again, Truth Nation, because as many of us are listening to this and we are driving to work, we may be at home working virtually. We may be getting ready to start our day. We may be coming from work. And I get it. Many of us, you turn into the truth, especially during this time slot. For me to get y'all hyped up, ready to go. However, this is also the truth. And the truth is that many of us have to wake up in the morning and read about another Black life gone. And not only are we having to read another headline about a Black life gone, a Black life lost, once again, we are faced with feeling like accountability just keeps slipping out the back door. Probation, community service. So while Devontae Mitchell's family was left planning funerals, they should have been planning for a family reunion. Now, if you are watching us right now on YouTube, you can see the video of the altercation between the 4 Hyatt Regency downtown employees and Devontae Mitchell. We're replaying that video, and for some of us, this is very difficult to watch. If you think it's difficult to watch, imagine being a member of Devontae Mitchell's family. So here's the question that faces us once again in 2025. How do we as Black and brown communities, how do we respond when the system is constantly showing us time and time and time and time again that our lives are negotiable? And what amazes me is that so many people in this country have let it be known that they are offended, deeply offended, agitated, frustrated, triggered, uncomfortable when they hear or read the term Black Lives Matter. And what I can't understand is that how would you even have the audacity to feel uncomfortable about just reading or hearing the 3 words Black Lives Matter when Black folks are constantly seeing people that look like them? Because whether you realize it or not, again, there's no coming back from death. And the constant dehumanizing of Black men, of Black women, of Black people in this country, and then to be unlived. And then on top of that, to see that you have taken away my son. You've taken away my brother, my uncle, my nephew, my cousin, my friend. And then on top of that, no accountability. This is what really gets me. We're not supposed to be angry. We're supposed to just carry on like we're not constantly seeing and facing the realities that in this country, the United States of America, that is supposed to be in the process of being made great again. This goes back to, when was it ever great? Oh, America's a great country. Let me be clear. I am a natural born American citizen. My mother was an immigrant into this country from Guyana. My father, natural born American citizen out of Kentucky. And I bring that up because whether immigrant, natural born, whatever the case is, I am so tired. I am so disgusted. I am so sick about constantly being made to feel as though I'm the problem. My people are the problem, when we are constantly the victims. And before we go to break, I just got to remind us that we got to stay away from people who create problems and make us feel like we're that they're the victim. I cannot believe that Devontae Mitchell's life has been put in vain like this. And this is the kind of messaging that we are sending our younger generation. And you wondering why young folks out here acting a fool. 833-212-1017. We're talking about Devontae Mitchell, the 43-year-old black man who was unlived as a result of a quote-unquote disturbance, and the 4 Hyatt Regency downtown hotel employees that were charged in the death of Devontae Mitchell. Not one of them will serve time in jail. Not one. So when you hear no prison time, Truth Nation, for the death of a human being by the name of Devontae Mitchell, 43 years old, what emotions come up for you? And what responsibility does this city have to ensure safety without dehumanizing or criminalizing black people? This is Truth in the Morning. I am your host for today, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. Stay locked in. We're going to go straight to our Truth Talk and text line, 833-212-1017. We come back.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Ride the wave to clean at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 per day. Plus, skip the wait in the fast lane and enjoy unbeatable amenities like free vacuums and tire air. Visit any of their convenient locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com. The biggest snowflakes out here have always been the white Republicans, who are so gung-ho on protecting the feelings of white kids while they ignore the needs of other kids. If Milwaukee's youth has a problem with fighting what white youth have a problem with being destructive and offensive. So it is sad that our government is actively working to de-emphasize educating and uplifting students of color in different backgrounds on college campuses. That emphasis is going to be diminished, and the only kids that will suffer will be our kids. They were willing to hold up the advancement of the state of Wisconsin because they disagree with DEI. What are white Republicans afraid of? Why are they afraid to face the fact that their grandmas and grandpapas were part of a system which purposely held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve? Until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Make your home safer. Get rid of unused household chemicals at MMSD Home Hazmat Drop-Off. It's free to visit a collection center. Get all the info you need at MMSD.com. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Bike crash? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Truth in the Morning on 1017 The Truth.
Good morning. Good morning. You are listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 FM. The Truth. We're coming to you live from American Family Insurance Studios. And this is the only Black Talk radio station where you will receive, as you deserve, hours of live consecutive Milwaukee Black Talk radio. If you're just tuning in, good morning again. Hope you are having a great week. This week has been kind of flying by because we had that bonus weekend day. And, y'all, I try to always start our days off on a positive note, at least make you laugh. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when last night, as I was preparing for the morning show, I read the headline, and let me be clear, Milwaukee. The news was broken to me on NBC News Nightly. It was a major national headline. And once again, Milwaukee is in a national headline regarding another young black man, Devontae Mitchell, 43 years old, was killed on June 30th last year after what was described as him causing a disturbance at the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in downtown Milwaukee, which then led to 4 hotel employees fighting him, pinning him down to the pavement. And according to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner, his death was caused by restraint, asphyxia, which is basically often associated with drowning, where your oxygen is cut off. No prison time for any of the 4 charged in Devontae Mitchell's death. They were, I'll put sentenced to probation and community service. So again, what message does this send about the value of Black lives? On our YouTube message board, Sylvia says, but what really got me, it was some brothers that did this. I feel you, Sylvia. Here's where I stand with that. The fact that whoever perpetuated this senseless, heartless, tragic death of Devontae Mitchell, that's one thing. But as a community, we have to focus on the reality that because Devontae Mitchell was black, whether it was black men, black women, pink women, fluorescent green men, a black life is gone. Now, let me just run down through some facts here. No prison time for any of the 4 individuals involved. Probation and community service instead. A life gone. Now, if you compare this case to past incidents where accountability is minimized in the deaths of Black men and Black women at the hands of legal institutions, and then you also take into consideration that this took place as what's considered a luxury hotel in downtown Milwaukee. The Hyatt Regency downtown hotel is considered one of Milwaukee's luxury hotels. It's a space considered of wealth and privilege, which takes precedence over the vulnerability of this Black man who was having, as far as I'm concerned, a mental health episode that did not warrant or deserve him to be killed. So how do we hold institutions responsible when we see harm, when we see even death being minimized? Like, who's responsible for this? And you see these lawsuits and they're settled quietly and people just move on. What message does that send? Because the community is still processing similar cases that happened years ago. There's no time to heal. Our Truth Talking text line is 833-212-1017. Now, here's what I don't want us to talk about, and I'm going to go to the Truth Talking text line now. Is if it were a Black man that killed a hotel. Look, we already know what country we live in. We already know that racism exists. So let's get into moving forward versus the realities that we know that we can't change. Good morning, Brian. Thank you for your patience. You are live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
One thing about this whole thing had to do with it wasn't an intentional murder. It was an accidental murder. I think what happened was the Hyatt settled super quickly and pulled off the attention, brought the temperature down by settling so quick with the family that the judge looked at it specifically by the law itself. Accidental. Okay, so accidental. However, it was a Caucasian man that I saw in the video that had his actual knee where the person needed to breathe at. I think it was his knee that was on his back. But since he had 3, I want to call them Black Uncle Ruckuses there with him, who actually probably didn't cause the death, I think the judge just said, hey, look, I'm going to let everybody go because the family's not making too much noise after that quick settlement by the Hyatt. And I definitely don't want to put this white man in jail, so I'm going to just let them all go. That's the way I see it. And I think it's...
So, Brian, let me ask you a question. Why did you feel the need to use the word accidental within the first 10 seconds of your comment 3 times? You kept saying accidental. What purpose or what value does that bring, or what were your intentions of saying that word?
Because I don't want his life to be in vain. I don't want that evil, that hate, to be on his grave. I don't want that to be on his spirit, even though he's not here anymore. If it was a hate crime, that was an intentional murder, and it would be harder for me to swallow. That would be harder for the public to swallow. But it's easier to swallow the fact that he was having an episode, and those unprofessional bums didn't really know what the heck to do, other than the fact that
for Devontae Mitchell's family, including Devontae Mitchell's mother that is listening, we're supposed to, as fellow Black communities, in as part of supporting, and you said something about his spirit, we're supposed to tell Devontae's family it was accidental. So I hope that brings you some comfort. Because here's the thing, whether you believe it was accidental or not, Brian, and Andrew, can we cue the video up again that we had earlier? See, this is the reason why, and Brian, thank you for your call. See, this is the reason why certain individuals look at us as non-humans. And we can even go as far as back as the Declaration of Independence, which is not a legal document, as well as the United States Constitution. And just look at how words are used to describe Black people. Subhuman. 1/3 human. And then fast forward, we're even telling ourselves as a community, well, you know, this was accidental. It's the words, the association. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube, I'm looking at the video of the disturbance or altercation. And I'm looking at how they are treating Devontae Mitchell, dragging him, kicking him. And as far as the neck, you know what? I'm not going to play this game and go back and forth and dissect what we saw and what we didn't see. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get back to the subject at hand. So, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the 4 hotel employees that were charged with the murder of Devontae Mitchell receiving no further prison time. The judge decided to issue no further prison time, only probation, and even gave them credit for days already served. There is a systemic, see, this is what we should be talking about, Brian. Now, if you watch this video, you tell me how that's accidental. This man just threw 4 punches, but let me stay focused. There continues to be a systemic sentencing disparity in this country. That Black males are actually less likely to receive probation compared to white men, but when we get into the sentencing, so in this country, according to the Associated Press, 23.4% are less likely to receive probation compared to white males. And Hispanic males, even more so, 26.6% less likely. Yet, when the reverse occurs, you have 4 employees, and yes, some were Black, some were white, receiving probation or minimal jail with credit. So in this case, Todd Erickson received a 2-year sentence followed by 2 years probation. Brandon Turner got 1 year, stayed with 1 year probation. Herbert Williamson and Devin Johnson Carson served 10 and 4 days respectively, credited as time served. So again, this outcome, it's sending a layered message. When the system decides to, it can circumvent prison. I'll say that again. When the system decides to, it can circumvent prison even when a life has been taken away. In this case, a 43-year-old black man by the name of Devontae Mitchell. There are broader terms and trends of harsher treatment for black people, which then brings us back to the question, whose life is deemed valuable enough for mercy and when? We come back from break, we're going to get into some more historical patterns of accountability minimized when the life is black. Our Truth Talking text line is 833-212-1017. I'm going to bring you some more facts and data regarding the broad racial disparities and the lack of accountability when it comes to black deaths in this country. We want to hear from you. We want to know how you're feeling. Because how do we as a community channel our frustration, our anger, all of the energy? Do we continue to protest? Do we continue to demand accountability through policy change? Do we boycott, create economic pressure? All these things we have to consider as part of demanding accountability. Where do we go? 833-212-1017 is our Truth Talking text line. You're listening to Truth in the Morning. I'm your host, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. We'll be back.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 1017 The Truth.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know it's not just a car, it also drives your children's dreams. So whether you're going to soccer practice, robotics club, or opening night in the school play, we help protect those dreams. Save up to 23% when you bundle auto and home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. We are nearly 1 million strong and growing stronger every day. Join us on Saturday, October 11th at 8 a.m. at Summerfest Southgate as we come together for the Making Strides of Milwaukee Walk. Whether you walk for a survivor, in the memory of a loved one, or to support the American Cancer Society, you bring us closer to a future free from breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country right here in Milwaukee? Sign up for free today at www.makingstrideswalk.org/MilwaukeeWI.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Sherwin Hughes with his truth.
You ever notice how the phrase 9 to 5 sounds just so old school? That's because in 2025, the 9 to 5 is as outdated as a rotary phone. Let's be real. The world has changed, and the way we work has changed with it. The gig economy is booming. Folks are making money on their own terms, driving Ubers, delivering DoorDash, freelancing, and side hustling their way to the bag. And then there's the work from home revolution. People are clocking in from their kitchen tables, their favorite coffee shops, or even the beach. Laptops open, pajamas on, productivity up. The virtual office is now the new corner office, and the only commute is from the bed to the desk. Let's not forget about the digital nomads, those bold souls who turn the world into their workplace. They're sending emails from Bali, closing deals in Barcelona, and living life on their own schedule. No time clock, no cubicle, just Wi-Fi and a dream. And 21st century entrepreneurship, well, it's a whole new game. You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9 to 5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9 to 5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Big
Big delays continue on westbound 894. Right about at 92nd Street, we have an accident. 2 right lanes are blocked right now with a car that went up into the trees. So be careful with that. Delay stretching all the way back past Loomis. On the eastbound side, everybody's slowing down to take a look at this. So we've got delays heading through the Hale interchange. The ramp heading through there is closed as well with the construction and all that stuff. So it's a bit mess down there. Eastbound 94 backing up out of the Zoo interchange all the way through the stadium. The westbound side's backed up from about 17th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And watch for delays already kicking in on southbound 41 from Good Hope Road down past Capitol Drive to Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly cloudy, breezy, cool, a high of 65. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance for showers, windy with a low of 53. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 1017 The Truth.
This is Truth in the Morning on 1017 The Truth.
You know, listeners, our valued Truth Nation listeners, when you read that 4 former Hyatt Regency downtown employees walk away with probation or just time served after a black man, a young 43-year-old black man, was pinned under them for 9 minutes, then dying. That's just not a headline. That's a message. Because the statistics tell us that this is so backwards. Because across the board, black men are 23% less likely than white men to even get probation. And yet, in this case, all 4 of the employees were granted it. And to me, this speaks volumes about who basically runs the system and who's willing to be lenient with it and whose it isn't in terms of lives. Now, I want to share with you some stats regarding the historical trends that only amplify this dissonance. Eleanor Bumpers was an elderly black woman shot during an eviction whose killer was acquitted. Remember the Trenton 6, the Martinsville 7, facing death's sentences without fair trial or due process. And all while this is going on, black people sit incarcerated at an unjust rate. In 2019, Truth Nation, black folks were 14% of the U.S. population. Okay, the last time we did a Census Bureau, 2019, black people made up 14% of the U.S. population, but 33% of black people make up the prison population. And nearly half of those 33% are serving long sentences. And let's not forget about this, Truth Nation. A black man today in this country, in the year 2025, has a 1 in 4 chance of going to prison compared to 1 in 23 for white men. Yet here we are, seeing a death of a black man caught on camera, and it's being minimized with comments like, it was an accident, or he was mentally challenged. Do y'all hear these facts that I'm giving you? And that I remind us that all of us have a degree of mental unhealth, mental illness. Every last one of us has some degree of it. So when I'm reading to you facts that black people make up 14% of the U.S. population, yet 33% of those black folks are in prison, serving long sentences. And these 4 individuals got nothing. Why do these stats matter? Why should they matter? Because this is the norm. This has become the norm. Black and brown communities have decades of experiencing lack of accountability, or accountability just vanishing. Why was probation granted? Why was probation granted? I'm listening, y'all. 833-212-1017. From your lens, from your experience, from your opinion, why was probation granted here? I'm literally asking from a lens of ignorance, because I just cannot make sense of this. 833-212-1017 is our Truth Talking text line. Our YouTube message board is going bananas, and I'm here for it. Madi says, when are relatives going to take accountability of their relatives walking around with no care? I see mentally challenged people out all night. So if you see a mentally challenged person out walking around with no care, then if they are killed, that's the family's fault or their fault? I'm just trying to understand. Dead Girl 2820 on our YouTube message board says, it's worse in my opinion if he has a mental illness. The absolute lack of basic human empathy removed because you are a police officer or in a power role is disgusting. They should be harsher for that reason. We want to hear from you, Truth Nation, because I'm still just, I cannot process how these 4 men that were charged, after watching that video. Al from Sherman Park, good morning. You are live with DT and Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
Hey, DT, and I'm just saying this from my experience of working with mentally ill and homeless. The employees were incorrect in punching the guy, but I don't think that was the reason for his death. I think his death was they restrained him improperly, and he was on some drugs that caused him to suffocate. When I worked with the mentally ill amongst the homeless, yes, we have compassion for them, but when it got out of hand, there was no regret in calling the police. And if their behavior, unfortunately, I can say, was beyond what was needed to restrain them, unfortunately, some of those situations can be deadly with the mentally ill, not just for the mentally ill themselves, but for those around them, in cases of pulling knives or when they're being assaulting other patrons. In some cases, again, we would have to call the police, and if it got to the point where deadly force might be involved, that's what had to happen, unfortunately.
So, Al from Sherman Park, thank you for being one of our valued listeners and calling in with your thoughts. I've got to go back to a statement that you made regarding what caused Devontae Mitchell's death. You said that it was drug related. When we come back from break, I want to challenge you on that because asphyxia was what the Milwaukee County Coroner's Office determined as the cause of his death, which basically is oxygen deprivation that is caused oftentimes by a traumatic injury, including an external force on the chest or abdomen. So Al from Sherman Park, please stay on the line. We're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to clarify what you stated, because what you stated in terms of the cause of his death is absolutely incorrect according to the Milwaukee Coroner's Office. You are listening to Truth in the Morning. I am your host, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about the 4 men that were charged in the death of Devontae Mitchell at the Hyatt Regency Hotel last June received no jail time, just probation. We're dissecting that. We want to hear from you, and also what message this sends to our younger generation of Black and brown people. 833-212-1017. We'll be back.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sunday starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ. And Mondays at 6 on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth Nation, are you or anyone you know looking for a new job opportunity? Well, attend the City of Milwaukee Job Fair on Thursday, September 11th from noon to 3 p.m. in the parking lot of Walgreens located at 9040 West Good Hope Road. Vendors from multiple employment sectors will be present to meet with you and share opportunities for hiring, training, upskilling, and so much more. They will also feature a live DJ, food, and refreshments, all while supplies last. Brought to you by Alderman Mark Chambers Jr., Alderman Lamont Westmoreland, and Alderwoman Larissa Taylor. Sponsored by City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee Common Council, City of Milwaukee Department of Administration, Office of Community Wellness and Safety, Northcott Neighborhood House, Fathers Making Progress, Northwest Side Community Development Corporation, State of Wisconsin DWD, Ross Innovative Employment Solutions, Goodwill Industries of Southeast Wisconsin, UMOS, DCMKE, 30th Street Corridor, Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Maximus, and Amplifier.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Hilltoppers are back in action this Friday on the road against the Brookfield Central Lancers. Join our coverage on The Truth starting at 6:30 p.m. with the Hilltoppers pregame show, leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
Ride the wave to clean at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 per day. Plus, skip the wait in the fast lane and enjoy unbeatable amenities like free vacuums and tire air. Visit any of their convenient locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com.
This is Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
Thank you so much for making the time to tune in to the best morning show on planet Earth. This is Truth in the Morning. I am your host, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. Appreciate everybody, Truth Nation, in our YouTube message board. Oh man, Al from Sherman Park, you disconnected. Come back. We're about to have a good debate. Al from Sherman Park, I know you. Come on, call back, brother. Before break, as we've been discussing no prison time for 4 of the Hyatt Regency downtown Milwaukee employees that were charged in the death of Devontae Mitchell. No prison time. Probation. Now, and Andrew, please keep this up for a second. Our great producer, Andrew. So Al from Sherman Park stated that 43-year-old Devontae Mitchell, black man. Oh, he's back. Okay, good. All right. So let's bring Al from Sherman Park back, because I believe whenever we're going to have a little mini debate, both parties need obviously to be on deck. Good morning, Al from Sherman Park. Thank you for calling back.
Hi. Yes.
Are you there?
So, yes, I'm here. So you're going to talk about the many ways you can asphyxiate besides someone putting their hands around the neck.
Nope, don't. Let's not put words in my mouth, Al from Sherman Park. Because remember, I keep telling you, I'm a professional debater. So trust me, roll your sleeves up. Now, when you called in earlier, you stated that the cause of Devontae Mitchell's death was drug related. I am saying to you that the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner reported officially that Devontae Mitchell's death was caused by restraint, asphyxia, and toxic effects of cocaine and methamphetamine. Now, you're partially correct, but here's the thing. When I look at that video, because the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner reported restraint asphyxia, which is basically when oxygen is not going to the brain. Now, if you're looking at the video, Al from Sherman Park, you could see where he was dragged and then he's hit in the face, which to me, and this goes back to, and I want to make sure I give them the proper credit, Dead Girl 2020 basically says that restrained improperly, they did not have the training. Look at this. This man is hitting Devontae Mitchell like he's an animal. Punched him dead in the face. How is that restraint? And then my thing and then I'll be quiet, Al from Sherman Park. My thing is this. If the Milwaukee County Coroner's Office or examiner said, and look at this guy, look at the lady with the broom. She coming in with a broom. And while he's punching Devontae in the face, this lady comes in with a broom and hits Devontae with a broom. Like, please help me understand how any of this was related to him to de-escalating. And then on top of that, he died because he wasn't getting oxygen to the brain, just like when you're drowning. The fact that he had cocaine in his system, and again, Al from Sherman Park, and anybody else who is an expert, a certified expert in this, regardless of whatever illegal substance that he was under the influence or was in his bloodstream, how did that warrant the way this man was treated, which resulted in his death? I'm watching the video. He could not breathe. He died from suffocation. So I'm done, Al from Sherman Park. What else do we need to talk about as it relates to this 43-year-old young black man's death? And for the sister in the camera who took the broom and hit him with the broom, she should have been charged too.
Okay. So when I look back at the case, the judge did charge them with assault. I think one got 10 days, one got 2 days for assault, but the assaults weren't what caused his death. It was when they laid him on the ground and set 4 points. And security can tell me if that's the STAR restraint system. When they had him on his back, he also had some intoxicants in his system, and sometimes you can position people's arms in a way where they're not getting full breaths of air. And the police have been highly critical of putting people's arms behind their back when they handcuff them and laying them on their stomach. That's another way that some have asphyxiated. But the asphyxiation wasn't from choking. It was from the way they were sitting on his arms, and he was a heavier gentleman. He was not getting full oxygen, and I do believe that some of the intoxicants in the system had effect on his respiratory and circulatory system.
So Al from Sherman Park, because I know we got to take a break. I'm going to ask you this question first, and then I want to present this to Truth Nation. I'm a little. I'm not even going to say I'm a little. How are we making this about the drugs, about, the intricacies of who struck first? This man died. I'm trying to understand how we as Black people are calling in and trying to even rationalize when we know this has everything to do with the fact that this man was Black and the former Hyatt employees, or whatever you want to call them, security guards, do not face any prison time because he was Black. And it continues to send the message that Black lives in this country do not matter. Why are we, this is like, I feel like I'm hosting a Fox News talk radio show right now.
So
my own people are calling in on a Black talk radio show, rationalizing and diverting from the fact that this happened and has historically happened. We're in the case of a Black man, regardless if he was on cocaine. You know how many non-Black people literally right now are at work who just did cocaine this morning and will get to go home to their families and get to walk safely down the street. And we're making this about him being mentally ill or him having cocaine in his system, even though we actually have a video. This is what baffles me. We got a whole video that clearly shows this man being punched in the face, dragged on the pavement, a knee to his neck and back, a sister coming in out of nowhere, taking a broom and hitting him like she's trying to get a rodent out of her kitchen. And this is what we're calling in and talking about? This man was a human being. We got to take a break, Al. When we come back, we'll hear from you for our second hour. But I'm just trying to understand, where are we going with this? So we'll hear from Al from Sherman Park, 833-212-1017. Can somebody else help me understand how we have literally went from the fact that none of the men that were charged with the death of Devontae Mitchell and received no jail time, and we're talking about, oh, well, he was on drugs, or, well, this was are you kidding me? My own people. 833-212-1017. We'll be back.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a ball.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hey Milwaukee, it's me, Coach Erica. Are you an author with a story to tell? Join me and authors from around the world at the second annual Black Child Book Fair happening Saturday, October 25th at the Mary Ryan Boys and Girls Club. Celebrate culture, creativity, and community, and share your books with readers of all ages. Visit blackchildbookfair.com to learn more and register today.
School's back in session. Kids have their backpacks, school supplies, and new clothes. But are you ready as a parent? Families are the single most important factor in a child's academic success. This year, get to know your child's teachers. Stay engaged with their learning. Don't be shy about asking questions along the way. Because as a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Learn more about how City Forward Collective is helping families, students, and schools thrive at cityforwardcollective.org.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is Truth in the Morning on 1017 The Truth.
Thank you again so much for tuning in. You are listening to Truth in the Morning. I am your host, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. Hope you are having a good short week as it is Friday Eve, September 4th, 2025, and we are coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio. We've been talking about no prison time for the 4 Hyatt Regency downtown Milwaukee employees that were charged in the death of 43-year-old Devontae Mitchell, a black man, which was taking place. He was killed on June 30th, 2024. And again, no prison time for the 4 charged. Blake, we're going to go back to you, Al, from Sherman Park. But let's first hear from Blake. Thank you for your patience. Good morning. You are live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
I want to say good morning to you, Queen, first. And I appreciate hearing your voice in the morning. I like to apologize for the ignorance of some people. But like when Dante was sleeping in the park, I know his brother Sonny. You know, and the police put his hands on that man. He couldn't take that whooping that boy gave him. That's why he did him like that. And he didn't deserve that. I watched that film of that man running around like a little baby. That's something you could tell something was wrong with that man. If he was violent, he could have beat all 4 of them dudes. I ain't gonna cuss, but he could have beat the stuff out of all them dudes. But to watch that film and to see what happened, and for them to get what they got, good lawyers. When they get public defenders that do you like that, where was they at when I needed them? But for the ignorance, people calling in, wrong is wrong, and y'all know they did that man wrong. And that's one thing about division. We all got our own opinion. We agree to disagree. But when you ignorant, man, stay off the line, G. Because that's another thing about us. We always button heads for no reason. Then when we need to get together and put our heads together, we got knots in our forehead from headbutting all day. I hate ignorant people, man. Y'all be good.
All right. Thank you so much for your call, Blake. Appreciate you as always. I believe we have Al, not Al from Sherman Park, but Al. Good morning, Al. You are live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
My comment is all skin folks ain't kin folks, and white supremacy will always prosper when you have the other white supremacy called Negro, you know, because, you know, it's two kind of white supremacies, the racist ones, and you have the Negro, which is the other form. But the real question we should be asking, if them was 4 black men who did it to a white man and beat him hard and heavy and said, do it again, beat him hard and heavy and said, beat him again, and they wanted to make their point to let them know that white supremacy does not happen, and them black men said, did it again, all of them be hanging from a light pole by their nuts. So that's why.
Thank you so much, Al.
Have a good day.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry, Al. You know I love you. I apologize. In all seriousness, I did not interrupt on purpose. Going to our Truth Talking text line, Shadio says, let there be a protest as there would be if these were white police officers. If we could do this, we'll start to change and redirect our narratives. It seems we always cry foul only when white cops do what affected us and play dumb when it was done by a black cop. Gene on our Truth Talking text line says, good morning, DT. Good morning to you, Gene. Please ask Al from Sherman Park if George Floyd also died because of drugs and not a knee to the neck. Thank you for that great question, Gene. Maybe Al will call back and answer from Sherman Park. DB says, oh, Al is still on. Okay, Al from Sherman Park is still on. Give me a second, Al. We'll let you answer the question from Gene. DB on our Truth Talking text line says, hey, I'm so proud of you for saying something to this obvious nonsense. Bottom line is that man did absolutely nothing that could have warranted his death, and all of these holier than thou, non-committing, crime committing ever, pro-National Guard advocates, forgetful of where you come from hypocrites need to truly attempt empathy, sympathy, and hesitancy, because a bad reaction to your prescribed medication could have had them being the next Dante. Thank you so much, DP. Appreciate the kind words as well as your input. Let's go back. So Al from Sherman Park, if you could quickly answer the question from Gene. Gene says, please ask Al from Sherman Park if George Floyd also died because of drugs and not a knee to the neck. Al, you were live.
So that could have attributed in his death of asphyxiating for George Floyd, along with what the police officers were doing. My point was, what color were all of the security persons that restrained Mr. Mitchell?
You're asking a rhetorical question, Al from Sherman Park. You know the colors. You've already identified the races of each of the officers that were, the guards that were charged. So just make your point.
So some of them were black, right?
Correct.
All right. So can black security officers make a mistake at not knowing the people's medical history when they're restraining them? And can they be poorly trained in restraint?
I hope, Al from Sherman Park, and I mean this with the utmost sincerity as a human being to another human being. I hope you or no one from your loved network, your family, any of your loved ones have to experience what we are seeing on the YouTube channel board of Devontae Mitchell's murder. I hope you never have to go through that. And what I also hope, Al from Sherman Park, is that if you do, God forbid, that no one will say to you, Al from Sherman Park, well, were the officers white or black? Or was he on drugs? Because as DB had mentioned, this whole narrative that's coming from you, Al from Sherman Park, as much as I appreciate you as a listener, a valued listener as that, I'm trying to understand, where is your empathy? Not even like sympathy. I know you don't sympathize, obviously, but where is the empathy? And why are we changing this into, well, were they black? And this 40, nope, you have yet to even say Devontae Mitchell's name. You have yet to even say that he was a 43-year-old black man who was killed, and no one, regardless if they were purple, yellow, green, yellow, were charged in his death. I have yet to hear that come out of your mouth, Al from Sherman Park. And so I would ask that when you call back, and you're making your point, just make it and don't ask rhetorical questions or questions that desensitize the senseless act of killing a young 43-year-old man who is black. Pat, thank you for holding. You are live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
Good morning. I was calling to say that I agree with you and Blake that called before. I think that you're getting this response from black people is because the fatigue. I mean, we have Sandra Bland, we have George Floyd, we have Dante Hamilton, now we have Mr. Mitchell, and the list goes on, and we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. It's almost like, what do we do now? Like, how do we stop this from happening again? How do we stop it getting these judgments coming down on us again, where we have to suffer in silence and be traumatized? It's ridiculous. I don't think we know what to say. We don't know what to do. We have a problem with mental illness, drug abuse. You name it, we got it. And it's just almost like, what do we do at this point? I don't know. I just called to tell you that I agree with you 100% and with Blake, and I hope that we come up with some solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat, for your call. Andrew, I know we probably got to go to break. This is just one of those topics where we got a lot of emotions, and rightfully so. But can we give Pat an underscore? Because to me, she hit the nail on every head. Like, can we get her a bam, 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 or applause, anything? Thank you for that, Pat. Let me take a break because we got a lot to digest for the remaining 50 minutes. And just so y'all know, and make sure you spread the word, today, when the Truth in the Morning ends, we're going to go right into The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Dr. Ken Harris and I will be guest co-hosting. I'll be on with Dr. Ken from 9 to 10. Now, the reason why I am saying to you to consider staying locked in is because we know that Dr. Ken is a retired law enforcement officer. And y'all know how I feel about Devontae Mitchell and the fact that no one is going to serve jail time that was involved in the killing of Devontae Mitchell. So the first hour from 9 to 10, I would strongly encourage y'all to stay on from 9 to 10 to hear what me and Dr. Ken are going to talk about. We are going to go to break. Mark and the town, when we come back, we're going to go straight to you. I just got to do a couple of live reads, and then we're going to go straight to you, Mark, and straight to you, the town. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. Our Truth Talking text line and our YouTube message board is on fire. We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Again, we are talking about the 4 Hyatt Regency downtown employees that were charged with the death of Devontae Mitchell have received no jail time, only probation. What message does this send again to this country? We'll be back.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
Your expression on your face, that's got to me. And the man wasn't lying.
What you mean the expression on my face? How can you see my face? You listening to me on the radio, man.
No, I'm watching you on YouTube, too.
Oh, all right, then. You're an old man, and you know about YouTube. How old are you, Adam? You about 85.
83.
I'll be dipped. How blessed are we to have you.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Ride the wave to clean at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 per day. Plus, skip the wait in the fast lane and enjoy unbeatable amenities like free vacuums and tire air. Visit any of their convenient locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Make your home safer. Get rid of unused household chemicals at MMSD Home Hazmat Drop-Off. It's free to visit a collection center. Get all the info you need at MMSD.com. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
This is Truth in the Morning on 1017 The Truth.
Truth Nation, you want to tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. for the debut of Forward Together for Kids, hosted by our very own Kyle Wallace and Cole Leston Morgan Jr. Forward Together for Kids is a monthly conversation where we have a real talk about K-12 education in Milwaukee. They will tackle the tough issues and make sure that you are informed about everything happening from the state house to the schoolhouse that affects kids' education. This show is being brought to you by City Forward Collective, a local nonprofit working to ensure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family. Again, that is Forward Together for Kids this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. And we'll also replay again. That was kind of redundant. We'll replay at 2:30 p.m. on Sunday right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And just in case you didn't already know, The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School championship football. And we've got a great matchup for you this Friday night at the as the Marquette High Hilltoppers look to get their first victory of the season as they take on conference rival, the Brookfield Central Lancers. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. this Friday. Friday Night Football on The Truth is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. If you're just tuning in, good morning. We have been discussing that the 4 former hotel employees who pleaded guilty in connection with the death of Devontae Mitchell, 43-year-old black man, last year, June 30th, they were sentenced on Wednesday. So yesterday they were sentenced and received no prison time, just probation. Let's see, we've got on the Truth Talking text line, which is blowing up. We've got the town and we've got Mark. So let's start with Mark. You've been patient. You've been holding. Then we'll go to the town. Mark, you're live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
DT, how you doing this morning?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm kind of saddened by the mind state of Black Milwaukee. What we got to understand is we witnessed an assault. We witnessed anger against our own people. But see, the key is we had one of the worst DAs in history, John Chisholm, one of the most racist, demonized DAs. That was in his hands. He dropped the ball. As long as people don't care, they will continue to drop the ball. Until we put pressure on them the right way and get those in office that needs to be in office and get the ones out of office that don't need to be in office, we will continue to have this problem. So what you seen was a mob attack, a mob beating. Milwaukee Police Department, one of the 6 principles is restraint. To have restraint to understand the situation and what they're doing, okay? They should have been charged. Probation does not fit what they was doing. I never seen that video. This is the first time I seen the video because I didn't want to watch it. And the way he was swinging off on that man and taking off on that man like he didn't love himself, that's a travesty to our people. That's a travesty to our community. And all you silly-ass Negroes that can't see that, wait till it happened to you. I wish that brother would have had a pistol and they would have swung off on him like that and he would have popped off for it. He would have been in his legal rights, okay? But the way they treated him like an animal, the way they drugged him like an animal, anxiety that was forming, shortness of breath, I couldn't imagine what was going on in that man's mind, Brother Mitchell mind. You know, and for these people to get on here and do this and say the things that come out they docile mouths when it's time to get out and do something, that's a travesty in itself. And Black Milwaukee, if you don't wake up, you will be next because they coming to our city. They coming here for us. And for y'all to sit back and think this is okay, you dead wrong. And that showed me the mental mind state of Milwaukee and the corruption that goes on in this town. I got whooped in a wheelchair, DT, in St. Joseph's Hospital at 21, fully restrained, handcuffed left and right, and shackled. They try to sweep that under the rug, but it ain't going to be swept under the rug because I know how to get to them. I know what to do to pull them strings on them. But like I said, this is sickening and it's sad, and that's the first time I watched that video, and that will play forever in my mind. And I just don't know what to say at this point, but y'all better wake up. You house Negroes better wake up and understand what's taking place in this city. And they really don't care about you. And I blame the mayor for what goes on in this city because he has a power over the police chief to do what he needs to do, to restructure these policies so they won't be chasing our people in the streets and killing our people, killing innocent people. This needs to stop.
Mark, thank you so much. We got to go to our next caller, but Mark, I hear and feel the pain in your voice, and I'm going to address that here in a second. Let's go to the town, but Mark, I want to address what you shared because rightfully so, you have every right to be angry, disgusted, disappointed, and hurt, which is what I felt through your voice and your call. And know that you're not ignored. I'm going to address what you just shared here shortly. Let's go to the town. Thank you for holding. Thank you for your patience. You were live with DT, Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment?
Good morning. This is some BS on the highest form. When I turned on, I heard dude talking from Sherman Park. Like, number one, do you not love yourself? You know what I'm saying? Sherman, this guy from Sherman Park, because you know what I'm saying. There's people like you. Okay, let's go. Okay, you know, so I don't want to get past that though, because he ain't even worth the time. But I hope there's gonna be some rallies. I hope there's gonna be some protesting, but I doubt it. Because they already got this cooked in the book. So I'll just go and say I spend the rest of my time saying this is who we should blame right here. We should blame Chisholm. We should blame the Hyatt Corporation. We need to blame the police chief because these are the people who make my bad and the BS judge. What kind of judge gives that to somebody dying? These people are employees of the hospitality sector. These are not police. They should have been called the police. If somebody else did that, if that happened to a brother or something like that, and then they didn't call the police, and if it was outside the Hyatt grounds or whatever like that, all them niggas would have got time.
All right, well, we can't use that, so we got to go. But thank you so much, the town. I appreciate your call. We just can't, yeah. So we've got Al from Sherman Park back on. Now, Andrew, do we need to take a break? Because I got to get mentally prepared for this. Or can we hear from Al from Sherman Park? Andrew?
You're good. You can take him.
All right. So Al from Sherman Park, thank you for holding. Thank you for your patience. Obviously, Al from Sherman Park, there's been a lot of reaction to your last comment. So I'm just going to put the mic down. You got 60 seconds. Say whatever you need to say. Because, again, a lot of folks are not happy with what you said when you first called in.
Well, I'm sorry, but to think that you know my experience is, I think, a false assumption. Now, I knew people have breathing problems when you get arrested with your hands behind your back because it happened to my grandmother, who developed a case of asphyxia in one of her many arrests. She would get drunk and become violent, right? I couldn't totally feel sorry for her when she'd get arrested for slicing her boyfriend's arm with a butcher knife and he almost lost it. I could not get upset when my grandmother got arrested when she sliced the face of a woman who was in a wheelchair. So I understand these things happen. I understand there's mental illness. And I do understand that a lot of people do not react to our mentally ill people on the street with kindness. That's all I have to say. These are real things that happen in life, and I do think it was an error in the way the man was restrained.
Okay. Thank you, Al from Sherman Park, for your call. When we come back from break, I'm just so sick of this, y'all. It's not even funny. When we come back from break, we're going to get into the root cause of self-hatred. And in our community, the continuing acceptance of unfair treatment. Because I hear you, the town. I hear you, Blake. I hear you, Pat. And based on some of the calls that we've received today in the commentary, because everyone wanted to say, what does that have to do with the fact that this black man was murdered and the video showed the mistreatment that led to his death? And I have yet to hear Devontae Mitchell's name. I have yet to hear any sympathy or condolences from some of these callers who are trying to even rationalize that this human being is no longer here. So we're going to get into the root cause of self-hatred. And why do we as a black community just continue to accept unfair treatment? And then we'll go to the whole, well, if the police officers were this, well, were some of them. And not one time are you thinking about the fact that you have a relative, or that could have been you. See, that's what you got to understand. That could have easily been you. What is it going to take, like Pat asked, to break this cycle? And when I say cycle, I'm not even going to talk about systemic racism. I'm not even going to talk about the injustice. I'm going to talk about how do we break the cycle of recognizing that self-hatred is the first step in all of this. We continually, as a community, accept unfair treatment. And we call in on a radio station that is targeted to black people. And you would think that this is Fox News, based on some of the calls that I'm hearing and accepting. So we have got to get into, in terms of now what, Pat? Great question. But you know what the now what really is the fact that we endure, we accept, we forgive, we tolerate. And all of it has to do with the fact that many of us hate the fact that we're black. When we come back from break, we're going to get into this. 833-212-1017. You're listening to Truth in the Morning. I am your host, DT. We'll be back.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth. Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. The Hilltoppers are back in action this Friday on the road against the Brookfield Central Lancers. Join our coverage on The Truth starting at 6:30 p.m. with the Hilltoppers pregame show, leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.J. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
And what are some of the ways that you're inspiring people? Because, you know, one of the biggest opportunities, in particular in the African-American community, is access, exposure, and awareness.
For Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin, we've been here 76 years.
Wow.
And our mantra is saving the lives you love. So if someone you love needs a blood transfusion and they're in any hospital in Southeast Wisconsin here, that blood's coming from us. And so we're trying to make sure that we're communicating that, because I think folks maybe don't understand that blood can't be manufactured. And summers are always tough because schools are out and we collect about 20 to 25% of our blood from schools. Mm-hmm. So it's always a day-to-day struggle. We say that the blood that's on the shelves is the blood that saves lives. And a lot of times people are compelled to donate when something bad happens. And our mission and our job is to educate folks so that we can get ahead of the curve and keep 3 days of inventory on the shelves. Mm-hmm. So we're in a decent spot right now, but we're on the streets every day trying to inspire people to join our mission. One of our big projects that we're proud of is Versity on King, which is part of the Thrive On collaboration in the Gimbel Schuster building on Martin Luther King Drive. And next year, we're going to open a destination center there. It'll be a blood donation center, but it'll be more than that, because we've realized that we can't be transactional with our relationships in the Black community. We need to do things that are intentional and that show that we're there to stay. But the reason that we're there is because not enough people that look like us donate. And so for disorders like sickle cell disease that disproportionately affect us, the race can matter. But I like to say that, you know, Black folks have a superpower in their blood. 44% of Black blood donors will have this rare trait that makes their blood more likely to be able to be a match for a sickle cell patient. And that 44%, like that is way higher than what we would find in other races.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
Westbound 894 still backed up. We've got that accident. That right lane is blocked. That's that car that went up into the tree line off on the right. Now, they were able to get that out of there. They do currently still have that right lane blocked, so keep that in mind. It's going to be slow all the way back to 27th Street. We also still have this accident on northbound 4394 just past the Lapham on-ramp off on the right shoulder. Doesn't look like it's in too much of a problem as far as the driving lanes are concerned, just a couple of cars off on the right. We do have delays, though, coming up from Grange all the way through the Mitchell interchange up to Oklahoma Avenue. And then southbound 41, watch for the backups from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly cloudy skies, breezy and cool, a high of 65. Tonight, mostly cloudy, chance of showers, windy, with a low of 53. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
This is Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
I see you, caller. We're going to take you in 1 second. Let me just let Truth Nation know we are calling all Black-owned business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? Well, guess what? We've teamed up with a valuable partner. And when we come back, I'm going to give you more information on that, as we were going to be recognizing Black-owned businesses and entrepreneurs tomorrow during Truth in the Morning. Truth Nation, have you ever caught yourself accepting unfair treatment because you didn't want to be seen as difficult, or angry? Have you let things slide, whether you're at your job, your school, or even shopping at the store? Have you just let things slide that you knew were rooted in bias or racism? We're going to get into that, but first, let's go to our Truth Talking text line, which is 833-212-1017. No caller, you are live on Truth in the Morning with DT, your host. What is your question or comment?
See, this is what happens, DT, when people give us the fake names. No caller means we're done. There's nobody on hold. We're good.
I thought you meant that was the name of them. That
This
is.
what happens.
See, I needed that laugh. Let's just get into this, because on our YouTube chat board, there's a lot of commentary regarding the reactions that we've received on the topic of Devontae Mitchell, 43-year-old black man who was killed on June 30th last year outside of the Hyatt Regency downtown Milwaukee. The 4 employees at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, after causing a disturbance, that's what they say, Devontae Mitchell caused a disturbance. The 4 employees that were charged in the death. See, that's the thing. They were charged in the death of Devontae Mitchell, 43-year-old black man, son, brother, cousin, nephew, friend, human being. No jail time for anybody that was charged. And some of the calls have been, well, what color were the police officers? Were some of them black? Or he was on drugs? Why do we keep accepting unfair treatment? Why do we teach our children to just be quiet and endure unfair treatment as a survival tactic? I'm seeing self-hatred show up in today's show. And it really just breaks my heart that for many of us, when we look in the mirror, we're disgusted. We always talking about, see, that's why I don't deal with black people. And these are the same people that are black. This is why I don't go out, because we don't know how to act. Devontae Mitchell, he was high. I'm really trying to understand how in 2025, many of us are still talking and behaving as though we are still. You see, self-hatred, it is part of a systemic racist act that has been taught across generations of black people. And then on top of that, you experience the daily microaggressions that basically shape how black and brown people view themselves. I don't know if y'all heard the episode where I had guest hosted for Dr. Ken, and one of our listeners, whose name I thought it was a woman based on their name, basically said, Denise, how come every time you speak, you sound so angry? It went actually kind of viral on our on our Instagram account. So make sure if you can check it out. But I basically told that lady that it's funny that when black women speak their minds and do it in a way that's educated and articulate, we're then angry. And in some situations, I have every right to be, but man, if I show any emotion or what is deemed as angry, because see, generations of portraying me in the media as angry and volatile and combative, that's one thing. But I got to deal with that even in my own community, because that's how black and brown women, especially black women, have been portrayed. And then you go to the internalized oppression, which as a result, you allow systemic racism to convince you to even question your worth. Do you know how many times as an entrepreneur that as a fact has worked twice, if not 3 times, 5 times, 10 times harder? When I get on the stage, and if anybody's seen me speak, I don't play games. I give 100%. And do you know that I still have to fight to get even a fraction of what people who do not look like me, that can't do half a good a job as I do on stage, and they get 6 figures to speak for 20 minutes. But because I come from parents that taught me who I am, where I come from, and my worth, that's why when some people used to get mad when I would say on Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, we eating over here, because I am not apologetic for knowing who I am and knowing my worth. And despite the efforts to silence me or to minimize my worth, I fight for it every day, and I fight for it for my people. Because we deserve more, but there's so many of us that believe we deserve less. And then we accept mistreatment. And then we call into a black talk radio show and divert the fact that this black man, 43 years old, his death, his killing was justified. And all you do when you accept unfair treatment, all you do is you are just telling the system that accountability is optional, and that our pain, just like you heard, I believe that was from The Town, the pain that you heard from this man, this human being, the vulnerability, it gets overlooked. And the non-black listeners that tune in, because trust me, we have a significant number of non-black listeners. In the meantime, they're like, see, why should we care when they don't even care? I would think that these phone lines would be blowing up with outrage. But no, we get calls, well, he was on drugs, or, well, what about, are you kidding me? We got a whole black talk radio station, and I have yet to hear anybody call in with outrage and a plan aside from Pat. And I appreciate all the calls that we've received. I just would think that as part of breaking this cycle, that recognizing that what we witnessed was wrong. But no, we got people that hate the fact that they're black and rationalize what happened when we know what the message is and what it says. See, the healing part, it starts with self-love. It starts with, I'm going to, on this public black talk radio station, affirm my disagreement. I'm going to affirm my anger. I'm going to affirm the fact that this was mistreatment. And even though the man was mentally ill, this does not warrant his murder. Where are those calls? We keep accepting, we keep forgiving, and all it does is just reinforce this cycle. Forget the justice system. Forget blaming the mayor. We got to take accountability. Because every person that you want to hold responsible, whether they have empathy or not, you can't hold anybody responsible for mistreatment if you hate yourself. And then the people that are silent, don't get me started on those people. Do you know the courage that it takes for someone like me, who constantly is referred to as angry, aggressive, loud, combative, to be able to switch, to be able to assimilate, conform, construct, just to make others feel comfortable? And then on this talk radio station, when I get up at 5 in the morning to talk about the fact that once again, a young black man was killed, murdered. He ain't coming back. And this is the comments that you have? When are we going to break the cycle? And don't get me started on when I co-hosted Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, all the comments, the fact that you guys, so many people not only hate themselves, but hate black women, but want to sleep with black women. Don't get me started. We have to do much, much better. Brother Madi, thank you for your patience. You were live with DT. Truth in the Morning, what is your question or comment?
We love you. We love you, DT. You on the road. I had to call in. I'm in my truck, but I had to call in. And just like I say, we really, us black men, we really appreciate sisters like you that are supporting us. And just like I say, there's no justification. And the way he was killed, it says a lot about this country when it comes to black and brown men and women. And I'm just not surprised. And what I was saying about that text, when I was talking about the accountability of the parents or the guardians, when I see a lot of these mental health people out here asking for money and they out all times of night, I bring them food and everything. And what I was saying was, people get checks for these kids. I mean, these people. But where are you people at making sure? I mean, I'm going to have to bring coats to these people. Some of these people ain't got shoes, and I'm not the only one doing it. My relatives have been doing it for years. These people, somebody's getting as they pay E, and all of a sudden they just running loose, and then they end up getting killed. You know, and it's just horrible the way that man got killed, and then nobody is taking accountability on I'm talking about as far as the criminal system for that. So I hate to agree with Brian, but I really think that white guy, they didn't want to send him to prison, so they said, well, we're gonna let everybody off.
I completely agree with you, and thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the support, the public support, because that's what we need to be demonstrating more. Because again, our audience, it consists of all types of people from all types of races, nationalities, ethnicities, races. And so this is a platform where we need to show that we support and stand in unity. Security Mike, we've got about 60 seconds for you. Thank you for calling in. You are live with DT on Truth in the Morning. What is your question or comment? Security Mike.
You straight up on. I like the way you checked the Sherman Park guy, let him get his word out, and then you came back with and banging him because he a sellout brother anyway. Man, that's bad what they did. Now I'm surprised to hear. I had forgot all about that, but I remember when that happened that day over at the Hyatt with that guy. They killed that guy, and then you're getting off like this for just probation. That's sad. Keep up the good work.
Yes. Thank you so much, Security Mike. It's good to hear your voice, and thank you for the kind words. And I'm glad that the truth could reignite what had happened in terms of our memory and just the awareness that we have to demand respect, and we have to affirm that we are all worthy of full humanity. When we come back, I'm going to wrap this hour up. And again, you want to stay locked in because Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is going to be filling in for Sherwin, and I'm going to join him for the first hour. Now, for those that do not know, Dr. Ken Harris is a retired law enforcement officer. You already know how I feel, so it'll be very interesting to hear this exchange as we continue to discuss the 4 men that were charged with the death of Devontae Mitchell were sentenced yesterday with probation and no jail time will be served. 833-212-1017. We come back. I'm going to give you my final closing monologue regarding this. But again, you want to stay locked in because we're going to go right back into it with Dr. Ken as we start the first hour of Truth with Sherwood Hughes. Stay locked in.
You're listening to Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this.
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Aww.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Truth Nation Steinhoffels has extended their Labor Day sale and they're celebrating the start of the Green Bay Packers season. Right now, save 10% off store-wide or choose 36 months, 0% financing. Plus, you'll score an $100 Packers gift card when you spend over $19.99. But hurry, this is your last chance for Labor Day savings on all the best mattress brands with up to 60 months, 0% financing. Steinhoffels, proud partner of the Green Bay Packers. Shop in-store or online anytime at steinhoffels.com. Ride the wave to clean at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 per day. Plus, skip the wait in the fast lane and enjoy unbeatable amenities like free vacuums and tire air. Visit any of their convenient locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. To learn more about how you can take your first steps in buying your forever home, visit associatedbank.com/lending. That's associatedbank.com/lending. Or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Truth in the Morning on 101.7 The Truth.
Thank you so much again for tuning in to Truth in the Morning. I am your host, DT, the Effective Communication Coach. And again, keep it real with y'all, Truth Nation. I had about a good 5 or 6 topics on deck. We started off talking about Devontae Mitchell, 43-year-old, beautiful black man. We all got mental illness, some levels of it. Some of y'all done triggered my mental illness this morning with your calls. But I do got to recognize and give a shout out to the majority of our listeners for demonstrating concern, empathy for Devontae Mitchell's family. Because Devontae Mitchell is gone and he is never coming back. And as we are transitioning into Truth in the Morning with Sherwood Hughes, guest co-hosted by myself and Dr. Ken, I would ask that each of us, we pause and reflect, because the death of Devontae Mitchell should not be treated as just another headline. It is a mirror that we continue to hold up to America and to us as Black Americans. 4 men and even a little girl in the background gonna bring a broom. See, I'm gonna get out of character, so let me just stay focused. No prison time, a probation sentence, and a life gone. Once again, our community is asked to just swallow this disgusting pill of injustice. But let me just ruffle some feathers here. Let's keep it 101.7 the truth, because injustice, it doesn't survive on its own, because too often Black people, we have been conditioned to accept it, and that is exactly what we're doing. Oh, this is just the way things are. Push back, that's going to be dangerous. Be silent. And what happens is that when we stay silent long enough, then we start to question our own worth. See, that's how self-hatred, it creeps in. When you live in a country that has a system that tells you every single day that your life is worth less, eventually you'll start to believe it. So what do we do? Great question, Pat. Well, I can tell you right now, we got to start resisting the urge to normalize this type of behavior. Oh, that's just how it is. Stop playing victims of circumstance and start being the architects of our future, because that's what I'm doing every day. And trust me, I've got plenty of phone calls and emails and threats, but I know my worth and I know who I serve, and I know that no weapon formed against me. There will be weapons, but they will not prosper. Speak boldly. Live fully and love yourself, because when we do that, Truth Nation, family, we're unstoppable. You deserve fairness, you deserve respect, and you deserve to live in this country without fear. Quit normalizing it. Love yourself so that you can love others. But this self-hatred, it's just another component to acceptance and tolerance of injustice. This is your girl DT, the effective communication coach. I love everybody. I love me. And I'm not going to accept anything less than the greatness that I deserve, because I was created in the Most High's images. Up next, Dr. Ken will be guest hosting The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, and I will join him during the first hour. Please get ready to continue this conversation for the first hour. 833-212-1017. Love you much.
Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.